Good morning. Welcome to the morning edition of the Roadrunner Soccer Postgame Recap, presented by Behind the Genius Studios.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to this exclusive interview of Behind the Genius Studios, the Roadrunner Soccer Postgame Recap, presented by Behind the Genius Studios. I'm Kione, Houlstead, and today it's Southern States Athletic Day because we have a very great special guest in the building. It's the Southern States Athletic Conference Commissioner, Mike Hall.
Good evening. Good evening. Thanks so much for having me on today.
All right, Mike, everyone wants to know your story first. We have a lot of questions. Digging into like the conference championships. We're almost 20 days away for the men and women soccer conference championships, and we have some news coming from the NAI as they've released their polling this afternoon from Dalton State for Dalton State, on the men's Roadrunner side. But first, we want to know everything about you. You know, how you began your collegiate athletics story and how you've gotten to your position as commissioner as one of the toughest conferences in the NAIA.
Well, I started a long time ago as a college golf coach at Liberty University in 1984. I coached 8 years there as the golf coach. And during that time also, I became the academic advisor for the student athletes and the athletic department. After I received my master's degree, I got promoted to assistant athletic director. So I gave up the golf job after 8 years and became full-time administrator. Had academic and NCAA compliance duties. In 1994, I moved from Liberty to South Carolina, and I became the athletic director at the University of South Carolina Upstate. For 12 years, we were in the NCAA Division II in the Peach Belt Athletic Conference. And then my last 8 years, we were in the Atlantic Sun in the Division I, at the Division I level. In 2013, I changed gears and became the commissioner of the Southern States Athletic Conference, a job that I dearly love. And we have a great conference. And so I'm now in my 13th year and looking forward to several more years.
Right. So how has these 13 years in the Southern States been beneficial to you? You mentioned that you don't have an office. You can work from home. You get everything done. Your team is like remote, and you guys are able to come together and give, great conference championships, great events, and, help the SIDs and the athletic directors and the eligibility chairs out. So just walk through how has that been beneficial to you as a commissioner, coming from a strong background in the Peach Belt and the NCAA.
Well, so, the name of the game is experience. I've had a lot of experience hosting events We hosted the NCAA men's and women's cross country national championships when I was an athletic director. We hosted the men's soccer national championship twice. We hosted the NCAA men's basketball regional once. I hosted several conference golf tournaments and several conference tennis tournaments. So I was, I've been around the block. I've done quite a few championships and I've enjoyed that. And so that's helpful. So, without a doubt, the biggest part of our success at our conference level is Matthew Hicks. He's our senior associate commissioner. He's in charge of our website. He's in charge of all the statistics, all the graphics that you see on our conference website. He's responsible for the student athletes of the week. He's responsible for the all conference selection process. He won a national award 2 years ago for being the best in his trade at the NAIA level. He's revered by his peers. He's a mentor to many other conferences. And just to be blunt with you, Keontae, he's the best. He's the best. And so he and I work very, very well together. I trust him. He's Tomorrow morning we will have an update call that will last about an hour and a half, and we'll make sure that we're getting ready for these conference championships that we're going to be hosting here in a couple weeks. I also have a business manager that works in Mobile, Alabama, an eligibility chair that works also in Montgomery, Alabama, that oversees all the eligibility of all of our student athletes and things like that. So we have a good program, a good staff. I trust them. I let them do their jobs, and I don't follow them around because I know that they're professional. They'll get their job done. So it's exciting to lead our conference.
And I just want to go off the record and say that we have the best conference logo uh, overall in the NAI among all the other conferences. You've got Georgia, Alabama, Tennessee, and Mississippi. Those four. And that Southern States logo truly represents. I have spent
And Louisiana.
Louisiana, yes, with
Yep,
Loyola.
yep,
Yes.
yep. And we're going to pick up a new school next year, Xavier.
Yes, I heard about that on the web. So you're picking up Xavier. I mean, you're picking up Xavier as a well. Right now, you have Xavier as an affiliate member.
We have those an affiliate member right now in cheerleading and in indoor track. Next year, they'll be a full member, along with Andrew College from Cutbirth, Georgia, and Wesleyan College from Macon, Georgia. So we're going to expand from 12 full members to 15 full members in 26, 27.
Wow, that's incredible. That is really incredible. As we continue to as you as you guys continue to add new members to the institutions every year, I think that it's incredible way to keep the competition going and to also give those colleges more room to grow in the NAIA as far as character, leadership, servant leadership to be exact, because that's one of the champions of character initiative. That's part of the champions of character initiative in the NAIA. But yeah, I do believe that this is one of the greatest conferences where anyone can grow, and also one of the toughest conferences where you will have to make your mark. Like, it's not given to you. It's not, you know, it's not presented to you. You have to be able to take every single step to go the extra route, to go to the final site, to go to the NAI national tournament, whatever competition sport and whatever championship sport we may have. And I believe that the system that we have as far as NAI is just phenomenal.
Well,
So
thank you very much. And I appreciate your compliment about our logo too. That's great to hear that. So thank you for your knowledge of our conference.
yes, yes. Well, I believe we got to know about you a little bit. We have some questions for you. And bigger picture, what's your headline story for SSAC soccer in 2025 on the field and off of it so far?
Well, obviously with the turn, I'll start with the Roadrunners. So obviously they won the national championship last year. And if you sort of go back a year, so our final four in the NAIA level, three of the final four teams in men's soccer were from the SSAC, Mobile, William Carey, and Dalton State. So I think that sort of tells you that we're a powerhouse at the NAIA level in quite a few sports. So I was very, very proud of that. Well, obviously this year it's about new coaches. So obviously Dalton State has a new coach on the men's side, and they also split it up and they have a new coach on the women's side. Um, University of Mobile has gone backward just a little bit this year as well because they also lost a new coach, or they lost a coach and they have a new coach. So it's sort of this year is sort of about the changes in coaching, um, good programs and top programs. Mobile um, and William Carey, they're always there. Life is there this year. Life will be coming to you all in a couple weeks for a big match on the men's side, which I'm really excited about seeing that. And that's going to have not only conference implications, but also national championship implications and who hosts opening rounds and the seeding for the conference tournament and all those kinds of things. So I think to answer your question, this year's been about a little bit of changes with the coaching, the coaches changes. And I still think, though, that the SSAC is going to be there at the end and they're going to play on that tournament experience. All of our top schools have tournament experience. They know that the regular season is just the first season, and then the conference championship is the second season, and then the opening rounds and the NAIA championship is the third and final season. So I like our chances. And on the women's side as well, we have William Carey is number two, or I think number two in the nation. Life is about number 10 or 11 in the nation. Um, and Tennessee Southern has dropped off a little bit this year, but they're still in the top 25. So we have a good presence both on the men's and the women's side.
Now, speaking of the top 25 this afternoon, the NAI came out with the national poll rankings. Dalton State fell down to number 10. What's your opinion on them just falling down to the number 10 spot in national polling?
Well, that's a tough question to answer. I know that they had a draw against, I believe it was Faulkner. Did they draw against Faulkner?
Uh,
And they
this past week, this past
and they
Sunday,
also had a draw against Thomas.
yes.
Yeah, so obviously that did hurt because I think Thomas has they're not one of the stronger programs. They don't have any kind of national reputation. So, anytime you don't win a W, it's going to set you back a little bit. But they're still very much in the picture, both at the conference level and at the national level. And they just have to approach every match. Um, One match at a time, and they got to take care of business. Um, and I'm sure that Coach Douglas will have them ready. And I think Josh is also going to go deeper this year at the conference tournament on the women's side as well. So I'm not surprised that Dalton dropped to number 10. It's tough being at the top. And I noticed one of the other teams a while ago. I think the number one team now has three draws, but they don't have a loss. And so um, it'll all be looked at. The strength of schedule is very important. Common opponents is very important, and I think that our reputation will work well for us.
All right. Well, it's a doubleheader night down in Mobile, Alabama, as the Roadrunners will take on the Rams of Mobile. And on the women's side, Mobile has over 200 wins. On the women's side, excuse me, they currently have 200 wins on the women's side. Got that information from Josh Goble in an earlier interview this past week that we had. On the men's side, it's a different game. It's a different ball game. What are the keys to success for this week going into tomorrow night?
Well, I think I'm sure that Josh has scouted Mobile's men. They've watched them. They have a first year coach that transferred from Blue Mountain to the University of Mobile. So he was a great player. He actually played in the MLS. He was a great player, but he struggled with the program somewhat at Blue Mountain. So I'm sure Josh is trying to analyze what type of the importance of the game. And I think that all the teams should go into the matches expecting to win, and not to expect to draw or not to play back to where you could go for a draw. I think you need to go to play for a win. At this point in the season, you need wins and you need goals, and you need to start early and start fresh. And I think it'll be a very, very good game. Mobile calls their pitch the jungle. Like I said, over the years they've been very, very successful, but they have dropped off this year because of the coaching change.
Now, moving on to your leadership. So you are 12 plus, you're in year 12 plus as commissioner and fresh off Conference Commissioner Association Commissioner of the Year. How does that momentum shape decisions this fall?
Well, that recognition is great. I thank the Lord for that. I enjoy the people that I get to work with, but that really doesn't shape anything moving forward. I just rely on my experience. Like I mentioned earlier, I rely on my assistant, my staff, and we just work together as a team to do the very best. What we try to do, and this is not just words, we try to treat all of our sports the same. We don't feel that men's basketball or women's basketball is superior to cross country or golf or tennis or whatever. We try to treat all of them the same. At our championships, we try to put together the best championship experience possible for our student athletes in awards and recognitions, in the venues that we play at, in the souvenirs that we sell, in the awards banquets that we host. We try to treat all of our student athletes to where that will be a great, great, memorable experience in 2025 that they attended the soccer banquet or the volleyball banquet or the cross country championship. So um, it doesn't really have anything to do with my the accolades that I've won. I'm grateful for that my peers voted me for that. But I just rely on my experience. I do ask the Lord for guidance and direction every day, and we just try to treat people kind. We try to treat people fairly. We try to treat people the way we would want to be treated, like the golden rule. Um, and we just try to push them forward. I hope that someone in our conference will be a NAIA commissioner someday. I hope that someone in there will aspire to become one of the coaches at one of our schools or one of the SIDs at one of our schools. I hope that what we're doing is motivating them and showing them that it's a good situation, it's a good profession to be part of. And like I said, I've worked at the NAIA level, I've worked at Division One, I've worked at Division Two, and it's all about how you treat people. And I think that's the rewarding part of my job.
All right, and I think you touched on question two pretty very well. You have to treat others with respect. I mean, otherwise, it's going to be a disaster across teams and conferences. And I'm glad you mentioned that. Excuse me. So, question number three, and this is dealing with the championship format of the conference tournament. Why keep first round games on campus, then move semifinals/finals to Montgomery? What value does that hybrid model create?
Well, we try to do as much as we possibly can to limit missed classes, and we try to reduce as much extra cost as far as traveling as much as possible. So a couple years ago, we were very, very top heavy in our conference, and we didn't play 1 versus 8 or 2 versus 7 because there was such a disparity in 1 versus 8. We didn't even have those matches. And then a couple years ago, because of our soccer getting so strong within our conference, it's very, very possible that an 8 could knock off a 1 or a 7 could knock off a 2. So we wanted to give everyone that opportunity to compete in a conference championship. And so obviously we want to reward those top four teams and those top four seeds for having successful in the summer or in the fall. So they'll host the first rounds on their campus. One host 8, two 7, three host 6, four host 5. And then they all advance to Montgomery for the men's and women's Final Four. We have a contract with the city of Montgomery. We have a terrific facility to play out there. It's a championship stadium. We have natural grass and we have artificial turf if we have inclement weather. We have a great press box. It's great, great hotels. It's just a great experience. And Montgomery geographically is the central geographic hub of our conference. So it's a great thing. And I'll be honest with you, lots of conferences have tried to model our format as far as the first round games at campus sites, and then also the Final Four and the Final Four banquet and all that. So we're excited about it. Matt, my assistant, and I, we're making arrangements now for police and for practices and for the banquet and for the menu and for the hotel reservations and all the things that go in behind the scene. The soccer balls arrived to Montgomery the other day from one of our tournament sponsors. So there's lots of different pieces. We're now looking for championship assistants to sell souvenirs, to sell tickets. It doesn't just we don't show up. There's lots of people, and we probably have 25 or 30 people that all together go to hosting the championship. We have to have a scorer in the press box. We have to have a public address announcer. We have to have somebody to play music in between sessions and halftime. We have to have someone to manage the officials and to escort them around and make sure that they're fed and have hydration. And we have to have all those types of things done. Have to have the police located at certain strategic points for safety. And so we're ready. We're ready, and we're just waiting to see which teams make it to Montgomery for the Final Four.
I have been waiting to get some souvenirs from you guys. So I hope to get some souvenirs from you guys this year.
Well, I tell you what, off the record here, I'll make something special for you. I'll get something. You send me your contact information, and I'll take care of you because I really think that you have a great future ahead. I really liked your intro about what you aspire to do, and who knows, maybe you need to come and work one of these championships with us.
Well, actually, I did apply for the NEI Red Banner internship for this year's conference championships. I mean, for this year's national championship in Orange Beach,
For
Alabama.
for which sport?
Men's soccer.
Okay, I tell you, if you will remind me after this, and I will personally help you with that because I have a good influence on that. We had three banner interns last year, and I'm on the men's basketball committee, and I actually speak to all the red banner interns at the men's basketball championship. We had 18, but one from the SSAC worked football. He worked men's basketball, and he worked one other championship, and then after he graduated, he went to work this year for his first year for the Chicago Cubs organization at the Knoxville Lookouts at the Class AA. So I want to help you for sure to get that opportunity.
Well, thank you so much. That truly means a lot to me as because again, like with Behind the Genius Studios, like I've started everything from like a college dorm startup. We were just podcasting, regular people on campus. Now all of a sudden here we are with my position as center athletics, now able to branch out more, talking with more soccer development people, talking to players, coaches, getting them on the interviews. And after the Mobile game, actually, tomorrow night, because what we do is we post what we typically do with our highlights. We take everything from UEN, which is another great streaming partner that the Southern States is blessed to have. Plus, makes my job more easier because I'm able to screen record all the highlights and put them into the editor and just keep it rolling on. And then afterwards, we have an interview with coaches, players, and again, it's really phenomenal this year.
Mhm.
So moving on to question 4, which is site choice, and I think you answered this question. So what makes the Emory Fulmar YMCA complex the right neutral venue for both tournaments? And I think you answered this question earlier.
Well, so my first year we hosted the men's NAIA national championship there. So it is a championship field. It's a championship stadium. It's the best place that people play. It has a mammoth press box. It has locker rooms. Like I said, one side is artificial, one side is natural grass. It's well lit. It's geographically located in our conference, so it's a championship experience. And we think that whenever they go to a championship, it should be their best experience of the year. And so that's the way we build it. And we're excited about that. And I've never heard a complaint about that facility at all. It's hosted national championships. Matter of fact, the NAI is trying to get them to put in a bid to host a future national championship.
Mhm. And with bracket stakes for fans new to the Southern states, what's at stake in October and November beyond the trophy? Seeding and burps with the NEI National Tournament. That includes the men's top eight format, uh, confirmation and selection mechanics.
I'm not really sure if I understood your question on this one.
For fans new to the Southern states, what's at stake in October and November beyond the trophy, seeding, and burps for the NEI National Tournament?
Well, if I'm understanding you correctly, you have to come in the top eight in the regular season to make the conference tournament. And then you got to win that opening round game at the higher seeded team. And then the final four make it there. Typically, on an annual basis, our SSAC men and women probably put 4 or 5 teams in the national tournament based on their record for the regular season. So I know William Carey will put in a bid to host. I'm sure that Dalton State will put in a bid to host on at least on the men's side. I know that Life will probably put in a bid to host on the men or the women's side. So all that's yet to happen. But for at this point in the season, that's the direction and that's where we're standing as far as our best chances moving forward.
And I think this is one of my favorite times around the season because whenever Dalton hosts the national first round of the national tournament, we always do a good job. If you go around, there's always distinct NAI red banner marketing and stuff like that, first round marketing, and the team Eric and I, John, in the last couple of years have done a phenomenal job just setting that up and doing a great job with the camera work. Um, Me working in athletics, I have worked on the camera side of things. Sometimes it's kind of hard. Sometimes it's typically easy, depending on if you're in the hot sun in August or if you're in December and trying to just get bundled or warmed up. Either way, but either way, I've enjoyed it. I really have enjoyed it. Got to know the team very well. So we now move to competitive balance, and this is where William Carey on the women's side kicks on. On the women's side, William Carey has 5 straight tournament titles. How does the league view long dynasties versus parity? This is one of my favorite questions.
Well, that's a tough question. William Carey, they have a terrific facility. They have a terrific coach. They've been able to keep that coach there who is offered other jobs every single year at all different levels. So that's their ingredient. They have a facility, they have a history, they have a reputation, they have a great coach, they have funding that they need, they have community support that they need, and as long as they keep all those different elements together, it is sort of a machine down there. They have they have girls from Mississippi. And they have, I should say, ladies. They have ladies from Mississippi. They also have ladies from all over the country, and they've actually had some players play for their country in World Cup qualifying games. And they've had every year they have 1 or 2 players that turn professional. Um, Parity. I don't know at the NAI level if that's going to be done because every school has different funding models. Dalton State's a state school. William Carey's a private school. So their funding is determined differently from state schools to public schools. I mean, from state schools to private schools. Um, Dalton State doesn't have as many sports as William Carey, so their funding is differently. So parity is going to be a hard thing. We have some schools that struggle. I'll be honest with you. We have some schools that struggle, but they only have a limited number of resources, and so they have to distribute those resources among all their sports as fairly as possible. And so they might need to, like, for example, one of the things that Dalton State did that was very, very, very important in my mind is they had a single coach last year for men and women. Now they have two separate head coaches. That was a very, very good move. There's some other schools in our conference um, that need to upgrade in certain areas. They might need to improve their facilities. They might need to improve their coaching staff. They might need to hire a full-time assistant coach. They might need to, uh, do some fundraising to help supplement their program. So parity is going to be a tough thing in at least in soccer. Parity is more in line with basketball. Basketball, you only have 15 on a team. You only play five at the same time. The basketball preseason basketball rankings came out today, and by the way, your Roadrunners are number one in men's basketball. Um, so our basketball team, you have to show up every single night in our basketball tournament. If you think that you have an off night, you're going to get knocked off and you're going to get pushed down. So in soccer, it's going to be tough to have parity in soccer because of funding, because of coaches, because of all the different things that go into it.
Moving on to the defending champs. Dalton State lifted the men's trophy in 2024 and went on to win the national title for the first time in school history. What ripple effect does that have across the conference this year?
Well, we would like to keep that trophy in our conference. We would like to keep that national championship in our conference. And like I said a while ago, many of our schools have had a taste of that. William Cary's been close. Mobile's been close. Mobile was national runner-up 2 years in a row. Um, so those schools, William Carey, Life, Mobile, Dalton State, they know what it takes. They know what it takes. They know that the idea is to play in the first week of December, and so that trophy that Dalton State took is very, very much on the mind, and a lot of our schools are thinking that hey, we're not that far behind Dalton State. Hey, we're not. We might be at one player. We just might need to get one person over an injury, and then we'll be right there with them. So those top tier teams, they're battle tested. They know what it takes. They know. You got to show up every single match. You got to be ready. You got to be healthy. You got to be well coached. You got to be well hydrated. You got to be all those things. And our team definitely knows that. And what I'm really proud of is last year how many teams were proud of Dalton State for winning that, and how many teams. I can't tell you how many times I got congratulated on having three of the Final Four teams from the SSAC. That's unheard of. And so they know what it means, and they know what it's like, and they know that it's in their grasp, and they just got to go get it done.
Right. And I think that the men will get the job done again this year. Not trying to be a Lee Corso here, not trying to put out some predictions. I used to wake up every morning and watch College Game Day just to, watch him put on a headgear selection. So we don't normally do that thing here. That should be a thing, but it's not. So again, I think they have a chance of winning it this year. I hope they have a chance of winning it because again, they've worked so hard. And the thing about it is that even despite them getting a new head coach, Douglas Oliveira, it's like they just picked up where they left off. They picked up where they left off, starting with the beginning of the regular season, opening day, going down. And then in the conference season, things started to slow down a little bit, but they were able to, keep a consistent pace and just knock off that UT Southern loss to them. And, that Blue Mountain game was, and the Bruton Parker game last Friday night was prime example of what hard work is, trying to reach for that banner and also that tournament trophy again. I do want to touch on the NAI Champions of Character Initiative because I don't really know much about that, but I'd like to know a little bit more about that. How does the Champions of Character Initiative impact the conference and its member institutions?
Okay, you mentioned a while ago, I think you mentioned servant leadership, I think you mentioned a while ago.
Yes.
So the NEI has five core values that it builds itself around, and servant leadership and integrity and sportsmanship. Um, those drive what we teach and what we preach. Um, we we all at each one of our conference championships, we recognize a champions of character team cross country. So coming up this fall, cross country, soccer, and volleyball. So each school nominates somebody to be their champions of character representative. We give them awards for that. We do releases on that. We have at our banquet student athletes that speak, and we let them tell their story as a student athlete on how they've gotten to this point in their career, whether it's something that they've overcome an injury, or they've had a problem or something they've had to work through, or they've had coaching changes they had to work through, or whatever. So we not only put it out there as a label, but we try to preach it, we try to live it, and we try to deal with people that do not live it. If they have character issues, then it's my responsibility to make sure that I drop the hammer on them. The NAI has policies that if you get a red card in a soccer match or any sport, in any sport at all, you get a red card, you have to set the next game. On top of that, I have the prerogative, if I think if it was egregious enough to be something very, very serious, I could add additional games or matches to that. So we hold our student athletes and our coaches to a high standard. Those core values are important to us. We reward those that do a good job at it. Um, Dalton State, for example, again, a couple of weeks ago, your very own Alex Ireland, the men's basketball coach, won the Coach of Character for the NAI award, a national award. All of the NAI sports, all the conferences, all the schools could nominate a representative. We had about seven or eight of our schools represent or nominate somebody from their conference. We chose Alex as our representative, and then Alex won the national award that he'll receive it actually in April in Kansas City. And so Alex exemplifies what character's about. He lives it. He's consistent. He's a real leader. He pours himself into the community. He pours himself into his team. I mean, tell me somebody at Dalton State that can say something bad about Alex Ireland. You
Zero.
can't.
Zero.
Um, and so that's why we felt he was deserving to be honored and recognized that way. So um, we emphasize character, and we think it's very, very important. And if you don't emphasize character, or if you don't distribute and demonstrate character, then sometimes I have to swing a big stick sometimes and take disciplinary actions against people if they fail to live up to our standards.
Well, thank you for touching on the Champions of Character initiative because as Center Athletics, I've been studying the NAI website for a very long time. I just wanted to learn more about that initiative because I know some institutions have to do community service hours, like a lot of community service hours to meet the demands of the Champions of Character initiative. Moving on to fan experience for the conference championships. What's new for attendees as far as ticketing, on-site activations, and streaming on SSAC platforms?
Well, so all of our championships now are cashless. So all of our tickets are online. You can go to our tickets, our championship link. There's a QR code for all of our championships. You can purchase your tickets online before you come to, for example, Montgomery for soccer or Montgomery for volleyball in the fall. Again, Montgomery for basketball. So you can purchase your tickets online. Um, I think we have a good venue. Dalton State does a pretty good job in soccer traveling. I know last year y'all had a host of students that showed up at the soccer championships, plus some parents and some other out of town fans. So we I think we have a pretty good opportunity for them, a good venue. We have good hotels. We have all those different things that are there. We also allow parents to come to our awards banquets. They can purchase a ticket and come to the banquet and see their son or their daughter receive their all conference awards or their player of the year award or their champions of character award or their all academic awards. So we think we do a pretty good job with that. I'm bragging here a second, but we're the only NAIA conference that sells championship souvenirs. We're the only ones that does do it. And I can't tell you how many times on Facebook or different social medias I've seen our athletes wearing their sweatshirt or wearing their t-shirt or wearing their hat or whatever it is. We're the only one. And we're proud of that. We do it for branding, but we also do it to generate revenue. And we also do it to make it a championship experience. So every time I go around somewhere, they'll say, "Hey, Mr. Hall, what are you going to be selling this year? You got anything new coming? You got any new colors?" And we have a student leadership council. We let them help us decide what brands and what styles and what colors are. I'm an old guy, so I want to take care of you young folks and get what you would like and what you would wear proudly. So I'm very, very proud of our championships. And we also, one other thing that we do that people probably don't understand, we have a software program called Game Time. And we play pre-recorded music that is family friendly to where we make sure that there's no bad lyrics or anything vulgar that is said over the PA system for our fans. We don't want a 9-year-old or 10-year-old kid coming to watch a high level soccer match and hearing some very, very obscene things on our PA system. So we do that. And I think that's just another thing that we do to make it a first class experience.
Now, speaking of the championship merch store, is there ever a possibility to open an online store for like on demand order?
Well, Well, we could do it, but it would not be financially prudent to do that. You would have to have a certain number of items sold or generated before you can turn a profit on it. So if we only had 6 or 8 orders this week and 10 or 12 next week, that really wouldn't justify it. But at our conference championships though, our teams buy it, our parents buy it, our fans buy it, and so we think it's a good thing. But right now, to answer your question, that's just not feasible from a financial standpoint. It's just not cost effective. But I promise you, I'm going to take care of you.
And again, thank you so much because you got a great logo, you've got great graphics. Again, I've been doing graphic design for the past 3 years now, and I understand what it takes to create, logos that inspire people, that inspire, your fans, your patrons who attend your events. And again, I think you guys really do a great job. Just real quick, because I'm kind of interested, could you tell me a little bit of history about the Southern states? I mean, how you guys got the logo and how you guys got the name? Um,
So it used to be called the Georgia Alabama Conference, and then it branched out to the additional states. And so about 1999, somewhere around there, they changed names. So I can't take credit for the logo. You're really the first person that's ever said that about our logo. Nobody's been critical about it, but nobody's also said that it's the best. Um, but I'm proud of our logo, and I don't think it needs to change. I think it's the colors are good. I think the it sort of describes everything, and we have our star there on our championship trophies that you see that is also incorporated in there. So um, I don't I really the history over the years since I've been associated with them in 13 years, we have lost probably 5 or 6 schools to the NCAA Division II
you currently,
schools.
oh,
Excuse me?
I didn't mean to cut you off, but you currently lost Middle Georgia University, Middle
Yeah.
Georgia State.
Middle Georgia has 8,000 or 9,000 students, and Middle Georgia's president said that he has outgrown the SSAC and the NAIA. So if you ask Middle Georgia's coaches what did they want to do, they didn't want to go anywhere. And it's going to be very interesting to see how they struggle or how they excel. So Middle Georgia, we've lost several. We lost Auburn, Montgomery. We've lost. We had one school consolidated, Southern Poly,
Now into Kennesaw
in
State.
Yep, they were consolidated because of that. We had Emmanuel College up in North Georgia there, not North Georgia, but close to the South Carolina border. We had actually a school, Southern Wesleyan in South Carolina. They went to Division II. So schools, I can never tell a president how to run their college or the university. Some schools do it for marketing. They think that that blue circle is a little bit more sexy than the NAI logo and so on. Some presidents do it for a feather in their cap in their career, trying to put something else in their resume. There's all kinds of different reasons. But the is a small college. Um, I think it's a great way to manage a small college athletic conference and at an affordable rate. And where you, as a Dalton State student, don't take a hit on your tuition bill because of Dalton State having athletics. So I think it's a good model. I think, you know, I think it emphasizes academics correctly. I think it emphasizes character correctly. And then obviously athletics is there, but but I think it prepares you for life after sports because of the character aspect and because of the academic emphasis. So I think I'm very, very proud of the NAIA. And like I said, I went from a Division I job to an NAIA job. People said, "What'd you do that for?" Well, I think that I think there's really not that much of a difference. Division I might have a 6'9" post player, where Dalton State might only have a 6'7" post player. Um, the soccer matches, I guarantee you, Dalton State could play in soccer against anybody at any level. They might just not have the depth that a Division I school might have, but their first 11 that they put on the field are just going to be, I'm telling you, they're going to be as ready as anybody to take on anybody. So I think it's a great thing, and I'm proud to get to know you tonight on this call as well, and your aspirations for communications. And I really truly mean this. I know quite a few people, and I want to do whatever I can to help you get that first start. And I really think that I can help you. I think the red banner thing, I can tell you right now, I can get that done tomorrow morning.
I mean, I just applied today, but again,
So tell me again, what sport is it for the soccer championship?
yes.
Okay. I know the sport manager, Rick Dom. I know the director of championships, Mark Bouchard. I know the vice president for championships, Austin Bennett. I'm on the NEI men's basketball tournament committee. I run the women's golf national championship. I'm very, very connected to the championships department. And like I said, we've had three NEI Red Banner interns from the southern states. So, and they've all done a good job. And so it will be easy for me to make that phone call on your behalf.
And if you don't know, the NAI National Championship for the women's golf, well, the women's golf program will be back here at the Dalton Golf and Country Club in 2027.
Absolutely. I do know that. I'm
Yeah.
very, very involved.
Well,
I'm the actual tournament.
I was telling the listeners.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
was.
I worked. Go ahead.
No, I was just telling the listeners about it. If they didn't know, because 2024 they hosted the men's side.
Yeah.
They did a terrific job with everything. And our men was able to come off with a tremendous win. You know, they're playing that course almost every day, and I don't think it's going to be any different from the women's side.
Yeah. Yeah, I was on the tournament committee. I worked with John Jadon, who was the athletic director then, and Eric Simpson and all of them there. And then the NAI, after last year, they asked me if I would move to the women's side, and I was the actual tournament director in Ypsilanti, and I'll be the tournament director again in 2026 in Ypsilanti. And more than likely, probably the tournament director at Dalton State as well.
All right. Well, moving forward to question number 12, which is dealing with media partnerships. This past year, you guys have transitioned from SSAC TV, which was your own streaming partner for all the member institutions, but you've now transitioned over to Urban Edge Network, which is an affiliate member for one of the conferences, the Mid South Conference, um, the Continental, which is the Independent NAI Conference, and now officially the Southern States. As far as media partnerships, how is the SSAC evolving its digital strategy and broadcast footprint for this postseason and next seasons and then the next decade to come?
All right, so I don't want to sound like I'm bragging when I'm saying this, but we were the first conference with the Urban Edge Network. So the HBCU conference had them as a media partner a year ago. So in April, I was in San Diego at the NAI convention. I passed Hardy. Hardy was the executive director of the Urban Edge Network. I told him, I said, "Hey, I really loved your championships. I want you to do our SSAC championships." So we from that conversation, when I bumped into him, we were the first conference other than the HBCU conference that did it a year ago. We were the first to join up with them, first sign up. Heart of America was the next. And then after the Heart of America, we've now had several other conferences that have joined us. There's actually about 6 or 7 of the conferences that do it. Why did we do it? One, it's first-rate quality, but most importantly, it's free to our fans. And so we didn't want to charge them $5.99 or $6.99. And again, Dalton State's a perfect example. We have soccer players from all over the world, and we want their parents to be able, and their fans and family to be able to follow their team and go from there. So it's going to it's going to be free to our patrons, but it's going to generate a significant amount of money from the advertising dollars that we're going to get in the deal. So you see the commercials that are played on the broadcast,
And then it
we
moves
get
to the
a
side.
percentage.
And then it moves
Yep,
to the
yep.
side.
Yep. We get a percentage of that advertising revenue to the SSAC. Matter of fact, I'm supposed to get our first installment check any day now. And so it's profitable financially for us. It's free to you as a spectator and as a fan. And obviously that again, if we can reach people all over the world, and letting their sons or their daughters watch that, that's a win-win for everybody.
So we're out of the pay-per-view era, is what you're saying.
Yeah. Yeah, we are for at least the next 5 years because our contract's 5 years.
Right. Well, congratulations to you on that new partnership. I think it's and again it's beneficial to those who run post game recaps from early in the morning all the way down, because what they're able to do is screen record those highlights. What I'm able to do with the post game recap is screen record those highlights and then put them into the audio editor, using Logic Pro to edit all my podcasts and all of um, the highlights for each player. And the way we do it, we announce our players first. We announce the players, the goal, if they have an assist first, and then we roll that tape. And it's just like consistently easy. You may stay up till 4 a.m. working on a 6 a.m. show. Again, like it's very easy rather than just going back to that paid subscription and trying to, look at where they've shot each goal. So kudos to you guys. I think this is a great move, and just good luck with that 5 year deal, because again, like it's going to help many people from around the southern region, grow that audience and like keep those fans engaged. All right. Question number 13, dealing with awards. So what should players/fans know about the all tournament team selections and MVP processes this year? You come out with a numerous.
Okay, so let me start this way. So our all conference awards are first up. And so Matt Hicks, that I mentioned earlier, my senior associate, he sends out a ballot for all the all conference awards by position. Each of the head coaches submit to them in order who they're voting for in each of the positions. Each sport has a number of slots that they award. I can't remember how it is for soccer, but I think that they have 22 all conference performers. We award those at the conference awards banquet. We give out our first team, we give out our second team, we give out our boot, we give out our defensive player of the year, our coach of the year, our freshman of the year. We have a freshman team, we have an all academic team, a champions of character team. We really do it the right way. The top performers in the vote totals then are forwarded to the NAIA, and those people from the SSAC are now under consideration for All-American status. And so that's the way that goes. And so then there's an All-American committee that says, all right, the SSAC, here's their top rated performers. And so this person will be first team, blah, blah, blah. And so there's a committee that kicks them around. They talk about their stats. They talk about what year in school they are. They talk about what kind of team they're on. All those factors go into determining all conference, all American, coach of the year, all those types of things. And right after the national championship, I think they make those announcements.
And it's really great that those players are able to, once nominated for SSAC award, it's beneficial for them to be nominated for an All American. Will be choices for All American awards. Yeah, I think that's a pretty great model for you guys, and also the NAIA players who go up for All American awards. I remember last year on the women's golf side, I think we had like four All Americans this past summer as well that were nominated, and we actually had one of our players on the men's side who won the Jack Whaley Award. I mean the Jack Nicklaus Award. Excuse me. His name was Jack Whaley, but he won the Jack Nicklaus Award, and he also won the Gary Player International Award as well. He's currently in the NCAA right now at Florida State University.
Yeah.
Jack Whaley, if you're listening right now, again, I'm just saying you're a phenomenal player. Keep doing what you're doing. You're going to go to, brighter to great levels in your career and your profession and whatever you do. He was an outstanding player when Ben had him. So just a phenomenal player all around. So,
But that's also a reflection on Dalton State College, though. That's Dalton State College produced that type of thing. Dalton State College has produced as many Jack Nicklaus Award winners as any school anywhere. I mean, at any level. And so, y'all need to pat yourself on the back and be proud of that. So there's going to be more Jack Whaleys he's not the last one, I promise you. The current Ben McFadden right now today was announced the NAIA Player of the Week for men's golf. Sarah Berger on women's golf has won 2 weeks in a row the National Player of the Week. And Sarah also, by the way, let me give a plug to her in case she's listening. She's also one of our Student Leadership Council members. We have a Student Leadership Council, and she's a representative representing Dalton State on that Leadership Council as well.
Now, switching gears over to growth and membership with recent membership news and future additions. How does expansion impact not just soccer, but the entire sports scheduling and future tournament conference sport brackets?
Very, very good question there. So next year we're going to be at 15 schools, 26, 27. We already have, believe it or not, we already have 2 or 3 more additional schools that are considering us for 27, 28. And that would put us at 18 schools. And that's about as big as we need to be or could be. The problem that we have in our conference right now is we have a cluster in Georgia, and then on the west side of the conference where William Carey and Loyola and Xavier and Blue Mountain and Mobile and all those, they're more spread out. They're not as tightly located as all the Georgia schools. We're going to have next year 8 Georgia schools. And so we have to be sensitive to that from a travel standpoint. So we're going to go more to divisional play. We're going to have an East Division, and we're going to have a West Division. We'll have a little bit of crossover from one sport to the next. But as we grow in our numbers, it's going to give us more teams in each of those sports. And the NAI has an interesting model that if you have 10 volleyball schools, you get two automatic bids to the national championship. In basketball, if you have 12, you get two automatic bids. Excuse me, 10. If you have 10, you get two automatic bids. So by adding these new schools, it's going to assure us that almost in every single sport, we're going to get two automatic bids in addition to some at-large bids as well that we typically get. Last year, for example, in men's basketball, and again, Dalton State was one of them, we had six bids in men's basketball, two that were automatic and four that were at large just based on the quality of season they have. So the membership is going to give us more championship opportunities. It's also going to help us with scheduling. It's also going to help us save cost in the working divisional plays. So it's a good thing, but we have to be careful about the balance between the West and the East.
And I think with 18 schools, you're really gonna have to like pay really close attention to how you group those teams, Western, Eastern Division. Because again, the more number of schools, the harder it's gonna be easier for us to, for you guys, excuse me, to, keep track of who can make the top eight in the tournaments, who qualifies
Yeah.
as regular season champions. So again,
Yeah.
great
We
model.
have Yeah, we have a meeting in June. It's called our annual meeting. Our coaches make recommendations on how we determine the standings. Do we do divisional? Do we take the top five in this division versus the top five in there? Or do we put everybody in just one division and we bring just the top 10 to the basketball or the top eight to soccer? So our coaches give us recommendations. The athletic directors either vote them up or vote them down, and then they become sports policies and sports regulations and stuff like that. So uh, I'm actually working in the morning, first thing in the morning, on two new sports that we're going to be adding next year. Next year, we're going to add women's flag football as a conference championship, and we're also adding beach volleyball as a conference championship next year. So I have draft schedules for 26, 27 for those two sports going out tomorrow to those coaches and to those athletic directors to take a look at that. Probably also next year, we're probably also going to have a conference championship now in men's wrestling. And our schools in men's wrestling are going to join up with some from another conference to comprise an SSAC men's wrestling conference. So we're constantly moving, we're constantly growing, again, what I said, very, very first question, we're all about conference championship opportunities and conference championship experiences for our athletes.
Right. And excuse me, with women's flag football, that has now become an emerging sport in the NAIA. So
Yes, it is.
I think you and the conference are on the right track of bringing women's flag football to the southern states as the NAIA continues to keep, building that sport up, trying to get it to its ultimate championship status. Because now even a lot of high schools are taking up women's flag football versus
Yeah.
your traditional men's football with shoulder pads. And it's a great way for women to be intact with the sport without getting hit or tackled, pretty much.
Yeah.
So again,
Well, it's several reasons. It's an Olympic sport now too. So, but Georgia, Alabama, Mississippi, and Florida all sponsor it at the high school level. So that really is a great launching pad for our schools, knowing that those high schools that could be our next rosters for the SSAC. Next year, we're going to have 7 schools in the SSAC that have flag football, and we're hoping to pick up 2 other schools from another conference to be affiliate members to give us 9. So we're excited about that. And tomorrow morning, my 9 o'clock call is to try to finalize the draft schedule for flag football that we could send out to get people thinking about it and moving forward.
So we're down to the last three questions of this interview. So I want to finish off with resource sharing. Is there any conference-wide initiatives helping programs with analytics, GPS tracking, or sports science this season? I know Win One is a partner of you guys that helps with, inputting data and also eligibility requirements for each player. You want to touch on the Win One partnership real quick?
Well, I'm really impressed. You've done your homework. So we have three schools, and I'm not at liberty to say who they are, but we have three schools that have signed on with Win One for exactly what you're talking about. First and foremost, from a compliance schedule standpoint, it really helps them. From an administrative calendar and scheduling standpoint, it really helps them. So I'm hoping that more schools will see the value and the need for Win One because they really have a cutting edge software program, and they really cater to NAIA level schools. So it's really a good thing. It's year two for our sponsorship with them. They're our Student Athletes of the Week award recipients, and they sponsor that, and so it's good. Um, we have several other things that we do. As we have sponsors that help us with graphics. We have Box Out's our graphic sponsor. We have, you already mentioned Urban Edge Network. We have um, we have restaurant sponsors. We have hotel sponsors. We have Game Time. I told you about the one that eliminates the bad lyrics and things like that. We have we have an insurance company that provides employee benefit opportunities and profit and loss benefits to companies. We have about 20 corporate sponsors. We generate a significant amount of money to underwrite our conference so that it's affordable for our schools, so that their membership dues do not increase. We also invest in our women's leadership group. We have about 40 women that we try to work with to try to keep them in college athletics. We try to help grow our own. And another example and things that I'm very proud of, I can't really take full credit for this, but of our 12 schools right now, we have 5 women that are athletic directors. Uh, 3 years ago, we had zero. So we had, for example, Sarah Thomas. I don't know if that name rings a bell. She was the first female to a referee in the NFL and the Super Bowl. She's a University of Mobile graduate. She's a University of Mobile graduate, and in their Hall of Fame, she speaks to our women about aspiring careers in women's athletics and stuff like that. So I think what I'm really proud of is we are pretty much a full service athletic conference. We not only have high level competition, but we do professional development. We do corporate sponsorships. We do now the free online ticket, and we do the free online video streaming. So I think we sort of cover all the bases.
And moving over to community ties, this is dealing with the city of Montgomery because Montgomery is home to the Southern States Athletic Conference in general. You guys hosted baseball championships, the conference championships in soccer. How are Montgomery partners, both city, parks, and rec, integrated into the event into championship event week?
Well, we've had this sponsorship now for 12 years from the city of Montgomery. I think my first year, it's very profitable financially. It's most importantly, it's centrally located. It's they have plenty of history in Montgomery that people can draw on. Geographically, though, it's the center axis of our conference. It's the easiest to get to from all of our schools, and so we think it's a good thing. So I want to say this: we have men's and women's soccer Final Four, women's volleyball top 8, men's basketball top 10, women's basketball top 10. We have some tennis roundups in Montgomery in our conference meeting. Our baseball tournament it's in Jackson, Tennessee, at a minor league baseball park there. Softball's in Decatur, cross country's in Decatur, cheerleading is in Decatur. Uh, Indoor track is in Gainesville, Florida, where it's the site of the national championship. Outdoor track is in uh, Gulf Shores, Alabama. Men's and women's golf is in Greenville, Alabama, about 30 miles outside of Montgomery at a Robert Trent Jones course. So um, that's sort of our championship footprint. And but Montgomery is the hub. It is a great vehicle for us. And like I said, financially, it's a very good situation for our conference.
And again, I think you guys are, geographically positioned well to host all those conference championships in the heart of Alabama. Um, Again, you guys should not move because again, like it serves a lot of great people who don't know about the history of Montgomery, Alabama, and plus, never been to Nuke's Eatery before, but I know I've heard it's very tasteful. So I'll have to order something from them.
Nuke's Eatery, and also Dreamland Barbecue. Have you ever had Dreamland Barbecue?
No, sir, not at all.
So I'm making this opportunity to you right now. You tell me, you look at our championships, and I promise you, if you want to do it, I will hire you to be involved in our championships to work one of our championships. You tell me your skill set, you tell me what you want to do, if it's statistics or if it's whatever you want to do, run a clock, or if you want to, you let me know your skill set and what you want to do, and I'll get you some experience on the job experience at one of our SSAC championships.
All right. I didn't hit on this question, but I think it's another very important question. So, officiating and development. So, what pipelines exist to recruit slash retain top officials for the SSAC and also the championships in a whole? By officials, I do mean referees.
Yeah, well, that's a good question. I'll be honest with you, there's a shortage on officials these days. So we just this past September at our fall athletic directors retreat, I took an officials fee request to our athletic directors to where we have over the next 2 years we have to pay our officials more. We got to in our footprint geographically in the Southeast, we have some Division II conferences that overlap us, the Gulf South, the Peach Belt, and we need to pay similar to what they do so that we can get the best officials possible for us. Um, for example, in men's and women's basketball, we have a consortium though we have some lower level Division I officials that work our games. So on a weekday, when we play on a Thursday night in basketball, we can get some pretty high level officials. On Saturday, forget it. We can't get them. They go to the big time and they go to the bigger games and they make more money. So I've put in a proposal to upgrade the salaries. I've asked all of our assigners, each one of our officials groups has an assigner. They actually assign who's going to work the Dalton State soccer matches, who's going to work the Dalton State basketball, and so on. And so I've asked them to get the best people that we can afford. I also ask them every year to release people that have no business being in it. And I don't want us just to keep somebody that is wasting our time and that is a detriment to our program. So we want the best that we can get. We want to pay them as best that we possibly can. We want to take care of them as best that we can. Obviously, there's a conflict of interest that if a Dalton State graduate couldn't referee a Dalton State event in any sport, we have those types of things that we oversee. So we try to grow our own. There's some people that all of our assigners have summer camps. So they'll have a soccer camp, they'll have a basketball camp, a baseball camp, where the aspiring officials go to and they work those camps. They show their mechanics on officiating, they show their ability and the knowledge of the rules. And those assigners then see that, hey, this is somebody that I want to plug in to an SSAC game. Our coaches, they do evaluations, an online evaluation form on all of our sports pretty much. And they rank the officials that they get on a system. And our assigners know that they're supposed to hire the best officials that we can for those conference championships based on the evaluations for the regular season. So we have a comprehensive system. Our assigner for soccer is also the national assigner for the NAI. So that tells you pretty much he's the best at that. Our men's basketball assigner was a Division I basketball official about 4 years ago until he retired. So he's worked NCAA tournament games. He's very connected. He knows what it takes. Our women's basketball official, our women's basketball signer, we have two that they sort of share the duties. One is still currently an an NCAA Division I women's basketball official. We had 2 years ago, our top official at the SSAC was the national official. He was the referee at the national championship in Kansas City. Um, our conference, we recommend people to the national championship. So we have a very, very comprehensive thing. We do not take that lightly. If you're good, you're going to be taken care of. If you're bad, we're going to cut our losses with you.
All right. And the last message to teams, fans, and coaches. So, what's your charge to the 8 qualifiers on each side as we enter October 30th through November 8th? Of course, the 8 qualifiers hasn't been listed yet. So, I would just say, what's your message going into this postseason run as we close out with these next 3 games moving forward, going into the conference championships?
Well, you got to get those W's. Those W's earn you the points. The draws are okay, but you got to get those 3 points for that W. Those W's determine the conference standings. Those W's, the conference standings determine the seeding. And you don't want to have to travel to the number 1 seed or the number 2 seed. The number 4 or 5 matchup is you would think it's sort of a toss up. It's going to be probably your best match. So you want to get as many points as you possibly can on that soccer pitch, so that you would not have to travel. Hopefully, you could host a home game on that 6th through the 8th, or not 6th through the 8th, but the first week of November, and then obviously whoever wins that opening round game gets to advance to Montgomery. So you got to be ready. I mean, you got to play through injuries. You got to suck it up. You got to I tell people this all the time. They don't make sense. You got to be selfish, but you got to be unselfish. If the coach calls your number, you got to give it 110%. If the coach doesn't call your number, you got to be supporting your buddies out there on the field going to battle for you. So you're playing for yourself, you're playing for your team, you're playing for your institution, you're playing for your parents. I mean, there's a lot of people that you're playing for. So you got to have the right mindset, and you got to go into it expecting to win, not hoping to win.
All right. And thank you so much, Coach. Ladies and gentlemen, this has been Mike Hall. Mike, as soon as I end, don't go anywhere because we want to talk to you more. But again, ladies and gentlemen, Mike Hall, again, thank you for being on the show. And again, I think you have touched every single question I've asked this tonight going into Thursday morning as the guys and the women's team prepare for the Mobile matchup. Ladies and gentlemen, this episode will be streaming on Apple Podcasts and also streaming on YouTube as well. And stay tuned for Saturday night when they go against William Carey. William Carey, after the game, will be posting the highlights as well. If you have any questions, send us a DM at Behind the Genius Studios, and we'll return those DMs shortly. Well, for me and Mike Hall, this is Kione Houlstead signing off from the Roadrunner Soccer post-game recap. And then next week, and then the week after next, we have an exclusive interview coming up where Ben Rickett, the director of Dalton State Golf, will join us for another exclusive interview. Ben Rickett is has won numerous awards throughout his coaching career at Dalton State, and he has only coached at Dalton State. And the only thing about it is that if Ben was asked to start a new program from scratch again, he would say no. He would definitely say no, and I've heard him say that numerous times. So we're really excited to have him on the show. From all of us here at the Roadrunner Soccer postgame recap, thank you so much for tuning in to the show. Mike, you want to say any parting words?
No, I've really, really enjoyed this a lot. You do a terrific job. I'm really, really impressed with the knowledge that you have of our conference, that's really refreshing to me to hear how knowledgeable you are of our conference. So keep up your good work.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, with that being said, that's going to do it for us. Hope you have the great rest of your Thursday morning commute. This is Kione Houlstead signing off. Have a great rest of your Thursday.
Can't make it to the game? No problem. Every Dalton State Roadrunners soccer home and away matchup is streaming free this season on Urban Edge Network, the official streaming partner of the Southern States Athletic Conference and the NAIA. Catch every goal, every play, and every moment of the Roadrunner journey as they battle for championships across the SSAC and compete on the national stage in the NAIA. Download the Urban Edge Network app today or watch online to follow the Roadrunners all season long. Don't miss a second of the action. This has been a Behind the Genius Studios production.